Welcome back to Travel Guy, where we explore the world not just for its beauty and adventure, but also to understand the challenges and stories that shape it. Today, we're taking a journey that's a bit different. A journey into the heart of hardship, into the reality of economic struggle, and into the lives of millions of people who live in some of the poorest countries on Earth. This list is based on GDP per capita, adjusted for purchasing power parity, PPP, an economic indicator that gives us a clearer picture of what the average person in a country can afford. These numbers may be small, but behind each of them is a nation with rich culture, complex history, and people doing their best to survive and thrive against all odds. So let's count down the 10 poorest countries in the world, starting from number 10. 10. Togo. Togo, a slender strip of land in West Africa, may be small in size, but it carries a heavy economic burden. With a GDP per capita of around $2,200, Togo struggles with widespread poverty and limited industrial development. Most Togolese rely on subsistence farming, and despite the country having access to the sea and a fairly developed port in Lomé, trade and foreign investment remain limited. Political unrest, particularly under the long-standing regime of the Gnassingbé family, has also hindered growth. Yet, amidst the hardship, Togo has cultural vibrancy. From traditional voodoo practices to colorful markets and festivals, the country maintains a strong cultural identity. In recent years, Togo has improved infrastructure and made small strides in governance reforms. But there's still a long way to go. 9. Madagascar. Off the southeast coast of Africa lies Madagascar, a country renowned for its unique biodiversity. 90% of its wildlife exists nowhere else on Earth. But behind the breathtaking beauty lies a tragic economic reality. With a GDP per capita of roughly $2,100, Madagascar is one of the poorest countries on the planet. After gaining independence from France in 1960, Madagascar endured years of political instability, military coups, and poor governance. Deforestation and soil erosion also threaten its agricultural economy, which is heavily dependent on vanilla, cloves, and other spices. Approximately 70% of the population lives below the poverty line. Access to clean water, education, and healthcare is severely limited, especially in rural areas. Despite this, Madagascar's people remain incredibly resourceful, and the country is slowly recovering through foreign aid and ecotourism. 8. Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone, located on the West African coast, is a country that has seen more than its share of suffering. Once caught in a brutal civil war from 1991 to 2002, fueled by blood diamonds and political chaos, it also bore the brunt of the deadly 2014 Ebola outbreak. Today, Sierra Leone's GDP per capita is approximately $2,000. While it has made strides in rebuilding infrastructure and political institutions, poverty, malnutrition, and lack of access to basic services still affect the majority of the population. Yet Sierra Leone is a country of deep spirit and resilience. Its beaches are some of the most beautiful in Africa, and its people are working toward a brighter future through grassroots education, agriculture, and youth-led initiatives. 7. Mozambique. Mozambique in southeastern Africa is a nation of both tragedy and potential. With a GDP per capita of around $900, it suffers from extreme income inequality, rural poverty, and underdeveloped public services. After gaining independence from Portugal in 1975, Mozambique plunged into a devastating 15-year civil war. Even in peace, it has faced natural disasters like cyclones and floods, which routinely destroy infrastructure and displace communities. Interestingly, Mozambique is rich in natural gas reserves and minerals, resources that could one day transform the economy. However, ongoing insurgencies in the north and accusations of government corruption have made it difficult to turn that potential into prosperity. 6. Niger is a vast, landlocked country in the Sahel region of West Africa. With one of the youngest and fastest-growing populations in the world, Niger also has one of the lowest GDPs per capita, at about $1,800. The country is plagued by extreme weather conditions, frequent droughts, and desertification. Over 80% of the country's land is covered by the Sahara Desert, limiting agriculture and increasing food insecurity. Niger also faces security threats from terrorist groups linked to Boko Haram and ISIS. Despite these immense challenges, Niger has been making efforts to invest in education and gender equality. Female empowerment initiatives and international development aid offer glimmers of hope. Malawi. Known affectionately as the warm heart of Africa, Malawi is a peaceful and friendly nation with a tough economic situation. With a GDP per capita of approximately $1,600, Malawi is heavily dependent on agriculture, particularly tobacco. Like many African nations, Malawi faces challenges such as HIV/AIDS, poor healthcare infrastructure, and climate variability. Over 70% of the population lives on less than $2 per day. Despite all of this, Malawi has often been cited for its political stability and recent peaceful democratic transitions. Its people are passionate about education and community support, and international NGOs have had a meaningful presence here for decades. Liberia. Liberia is one of only 2 African countries never to have been colonized in the traditional sense, having been founded by freed American slaves in the 1800s. Yet, despite its unique history, Liberia has endured 2 civil wars, 1989 to 2003, and a major health crisis with the Ebola outbreak. The country's GDP per capita is around $1,300, and basic infrastructure, roads, schools, hospitals, remains limited. Unemployment is high, and many Liberians rely on informal markets or subsistence farming. There is, however, a strong sense of national pride and identity. Liberia has held several democratic elections in recent years, and its citizens are eager for change and progress, especially among the youth. Democratic Republic of the Congo, DRC. The DRC is one of the richest countries in the world. In terms of natural resources, it has vast reserves of gold, copper, cobalt, and diamonds. Ironically, it is also one of the poorest countries on Earth, with a GDP per capita of only $1,200. Why the contradiction? Decades of colonial exploitation, followed by dictatorship under Mobutu Sese Seko, civil wars, and ongoing armed conflicts in the East have left the country in turmoil. Corruption is rampant, and millions have died due to war and disease. The DRC is vast, the second largest country in Africa, and its size makes infrastructure development even more difficult. But there is great potential. If peace and stability can be established, the DRC could one day be an economic giant. Central African Republic. Nestled in the heart of the continent, the Central African Republic has long been racked by instability and violence. Its GDP per capita is around $1,000, and its humanitarian crisis is among the most underreported in the world. Since gaining independence from France in 1960, the CAR has experienced coups, armed rebellions, and foreign intervention. Much of the country is controlled by militia groups, and millions are displaced or in need of emergency aid. Despite having abundant resources such as diamonds, gold, and timber, the average citizen sees none of the benefits. Education, healthcare, and even clean water are hard to come by. The road to recovery will be long, but peace-building efforts are underway. Burundi. At number 1 is Burundi, the poorest country in the world by GDP per capita, around $800. This small, landlocked nation in East Africa has endured decades of ethnic conflict, political instability, and economic isolation. Over 85% of Burundians live in rural areas, surviving on subsistence farming. Civil wars in the 1990s and early 2000s devastated the economy, and since then, government repression, corruption, and international sanctions have stifled growth. Malnutrition, poor education, and limited access to healthcare are widespread. Yet, in the face of such adversity, Burundians remain hopeful. Cultural traditions, dance, and community cohesion play a vital role in their resilience and identity. Understanding the poorest countries in the world isn't about shaming or pity. It's about recognition. It's about recognizing how much of our world remains unequal and how deeply history, geography, and geopolitics affect opportunity. At Travel Guy, we believe that exploring the world includes exploring its struggles, because only through understanding can we begin to care, and only through caring can we begin to help. If you found this video thought-provoking, please like, comment, and subscribe. And tell us, which country do you want us to cover in more detail? Maybe we'll take a deeper dive in a future episode. Until next time, stay curious and stay kind. This is Travel Guy, signing off.